Hello friends, this is teacher JB. Let us study English. Today we are going to read a story, Lying on the Beach. Lying on the beach. So this L-Y-I-N-G comes from L-I-E. When you make lying, ing form, this I-E becomes Y-I-N-G and L. Lying. Lying on the beach. First, let us practice some vocabulary. Beam. Beam. Beam spells B-E-A-M. Beam. Next one. Calm. Calm spells C-A-L-M. And this L does make sound. Sounds calm. Calm. Next one. Guilty. Guilty. Guilty spells G-U-I-L-T-Y. So just like build, B-U-I-L-D or B-U-I-L-T, it sounds E. Built. Guilty. Guilty. Next one, instantly. Instantly. Instantly spells I-N-S-T-A-N-T-L-Y. And then this T doesn't make sound. Just say instantly. Instantly. Next one, kick. Kick is spells K-I-C-K. Kick. Next one, moment. Moment spells M-O-M-E-N-T. This O sounds like O. Accent on the first syllable. Moment. Moment. Next one, paradise. Accent on the first syllable. Paradise. Paradise. Paradise spells P-A-R-A-D-I-S-E. Paradise. Next one, rise. Rise. It spells R-I-S-E. R-I-C-E sounds rice. R-I-S-E sounds rise. Rice. Rise. Next one, ruin. Ruin. Ruin spells R-U-I-N. Ruin. Next one, starter. Startle, or you can say startle. Startle. Startle spells S-T-A-R-T-L-E. Startle. S-T-A-R-T-L-E. In front of after R, T sounds like R. Say startle. 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 Next one, stomach. Stomach. Stomach spells S-T-O-M-A-C-H. And many people pronounce just like ch, but this is not ch. This is k. Stomach. Stomach. The last one, weather. Weather. Weather spells W-E-A-T-H-E-R. Weather. Beam. Calm. Guilty. Instantly. Kick. Moment. Paradise. Rise. Ruin. Startle. Stomach. Weather. Now let us read the story. She was lying on the beach. It felt really calm. The sun was beaming down. It was not too hot. The weather was perfect. She was lying on her stomach. She was in paradise. Suddenly, something happened. This ED sounds like D because this is voiced. Something happened. Someone ran by. Sand was kicked on her back. So this ed sounds like T because K is voiceless. Sand was kicked on her back. She was startled. So this ed sounds like D. L is voiced. She was startled. She sat up to see who kicked it. So this T sound, K is voiceless. She sat up to see who kicked it. There were a lot of people around. She did not see who ran by. She felt angry. Someone had ruined her moment in the sun. Ruined? This sounds like D. Ruined. Someone had ruined her moment in the sun. She lay back down. Minutes later, someone ran by again. Sand was kicked on her back. So this ed sounds like T. Kicked on her back. She rose instantly. She saw a kid hiding. He was laughing. She stood up and walked toward the kid. So this ed sounds like T. Walked. She stood up and walked towards the kid. Were you kicking sand on my back? She asked the kid. So this ed sounds like T because K is voiceless. She asked. She asked the kid. The kid was scared. Ed sounds like D. R is voiced. The kid was scared. He started crying. So ed sounds like it because of T sound. Started. He started crying. She felt guilty for making him cry. Don't cry, she said. I'm sorry, the kid said. She never came back to that beach again. There are 5 scrambled sentences. Let us unscramble them. As we unscramble each one of them, let's practice sentence structures. The first one, yes, we have she, which is the subject. She was lying on the beach. Okay, luckily, everything in the same order. She was lying on the beach. Subject, verb. On the beach is a adverbial phrase. Okay, she was lying on the beach. Next one. Okay, so we don't see she. So something else is the subject. Was beaming down is the verb. So the sun was beaming down. The sun is the subject. Was beaming down. So this is a verb. And this is an adverb. Okay, we don't see a subject here again, but when we have there in a sentence, we usually start with there. And then after there, we need a verb which is were, there were. So the subject could be a plural. So a lot of people could be the subject, around. So here, there were a lot of people around. A lot of people, this is the subject, and this is the verb. There were a lot of people around. Next one, okay, we have she here. She is the subject. She walked and stood up. So there are 2 verbs. And then here, which one first? She was lying down, so she has to stand up first, right? So she stood up and and walked toward the kids. She stood up and walked toward the kids. So she is the subject, stood up and walked. This is a compound verb. She stood up and walked toward the kid. And the last one, she is the subject, and the verb is she felt. She felt guilty, and then the reason for making him cry. She felt guilty for making him cry. She is the subject, felt is the verb, and then guilt is going to be complement. C-O-M-P-L-E-M-E-N-T, complement, because guilt is describing the subject. She felt guilty, the reason for making him cry. Now let us practice a pronunciation. She was lying on the beach, so be careful with this. Make a long E sound, beach. She was lying on the beach. So say B and then ch, beach. The next one, the sun was beaming down, so nothing just like a specific to practice, beaming down. So this one again, long is sound. The sun was beaming down. There were a lot of, okay, this one, a lot, a lot, and then of, a lot of. And then vowel, you flap it, a lot of. There were a lot of people around. There were a lot of, there were a lot of people around. She stood up. So this one read together, stood, and then up here, and then vowel, you flap it, stood up, stood up. She stood up, and walked toward. So this one T, and then the first word toward is T too. So you can cancel the first T. Walk towards, walk towards. She stood up and walked towards the kid. The last one, she felt guilty. So after L, you don't just like make T sound. She felt guilty for making him cry, making him cry. She felt guilty for making him cry. So let us practice the sentences one more time. She was lying on the beach. The sun was beaming down. There were a lot of people around. There were a lot of, there were a lot of people around. There were a lot of people around. And then there were sound alike. So put together, there were a lot of people. There were a lot of people around. And stood up, walked towards. So she stood up and walked towards the kid. She felt guilty for making him cry. Okay, friends, this is the conclusion of today's study. I will come back to you with another story as soon as possible. Until then, keep studying English and have a great day. Bye.